Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. As promised yesterday, Bungie gave us a very interesting roadmap for the rest of the Destiny 1 lifecycle. They started to give us some details about what we can expect from the final live event called Age of Triumph. They also gave us some very interesting details about our character's transition into Destiny 2, including the fact that your character's power, possessions, and Eververse items will not carry over with your character. While this might seem like a bad thing, I'm going to break this down a little bit and show you why this just might be some of the most exciting news we've heard about Destiny 2. Now before jumping into all of this juicy news, I wanted to quickly thank all of you for your patience over the last week or so while I took a small break from posting videos. I'm about to move and I had to deal with some logistical things, but more importantly I wanted to make some major progress on my big Destiny 2 wishlist video. I decided to give it some extra love and care with motion graphics, animations, and even voiceovers. It's shaping up much better than I had ever hoped, and I'm aiming to have it released before the next live event, so I can shift focus to covering that, and then of course Destiny 2 after that. But speaking of live events, we're getting our final Destiny 1 live event at the end of March. The event is called Age of Triumph, and it was described as the following. We intend for it to be a fun and memorable celebration that will bring the first major chapter of our Destiny adventures to a fitting close. We'll look back upon the 3 incredible years we've shared as a community and look ahead at some final challenges and rewards that await you in the weeks ahead. Now, we don't know much more aside from that, but the good news is that we will be learning a lot more about the event next week in the first of a series of 3 live streams. The first stream is called Age of Triumph Reveal, and it will be streamed live on Wednesday, March 8th. There's no time set yet, but you can bet it'll be 10 AM Pacific as it is usually. The image representing that stream is what looks like a Vexed Praetorian in front of the Vault of Glass entrance. So it looks like Bungie is about to give the community what it's been clamoring for, which is an updated version of Vault of Glass. The next stream is called Age of Triumph Weekly Rituals and will be held on the next Wednesday, March 15th. For that stream, the image shows what looks to be the new featured activity section for the Destination Director. From left to right, we have the weekly featured Crucible playlist, next the daily Heroic Story mission, the Siva Crisis Heroic playlist, the weekly Nightfall, and then we have 2 new icons, including one that looks like the Challenge of the Elders, and one that is the Raid icon. We'll touch on what that could mean in a moment, but it looks like we will be learning about the specifics on how Bungie is planning to keep us playing the game until the sequel is released. Moving on to the third and final live stream, it is called Age of Triumph Sandbox Update, and is scheduled for the following Wednesday, March 22nd. They will no doubtly be fixing a lot of the issues that were presented in the first Sandbox update we got a couple weeks ago, and it's nice to know that that is going to be aimed for that same late March release. Although the image shows a hunter with what looks like some snazzy new armor. It's hard to make out because of the lighting, but the angles and shapes suggest that we might be looking at some new Vaults of Glass gear, or at least some new gear representing the new live event. Now, as far as what I think the event will be about, I think it will actually be different than what some of us might think. We're all expecting to have Vault of Glass, Crota's End, and maybe even Skolas' Revenge bumped up to post 400 light with new gear. But the more I look at today's news and the imagery, the more I'm starting to think that it won't be as simple as that. First up, I remember an interview with Luke Smith from around when The Taken King was released. Even back then, people were asking about the return of Year 1 raids, and Luke Smith mentioned this. If we continue to make all of the content super relevant in the moment to all players, what we've done is create a wide swath of stuff for you to do, but we've also now potentially psychologically encumbered players so they feel paralyzed. What he meant by this is that he felt that bringing all of the raids and old activities to current light would create a to-do list that is perhaps a little overbearing. They see Destiny as a hobby, but they always are striving to balance your quality of life. It's really one of the big reasons why I love Bungie so much. They ultimately care greatly about their product and its impact on player experience, and that may mean that the old raids won't simply be brought back in the way you might think. And from the second stream's image, I'm more inclined to believe that they are tailoring a set of challenges that will rotate weekly. Think of it like Nightfall Raid. It doesn't touch the old raid difficulty, but it will make a heroic raid for that week, perhaps with a challenge mode thrown in, like defeat the Templar without it teleporting, or something along those lines. Also, with the success of strike scoring, it would be interesting to see if they decide to throw in perhaps raid scoring for those weekly challenges, paired up with maybe some special bounties, and if they go that route, then completing those bounties may be what grants you the new raid challenge loot. Now, I don't know what this means for the current Year 1 loot in those raids, but luckily we won't have long to speculate as we should get a much clearer picture of this next week. Either way, it looks like they're striving to deliver a much more content-rich experience than the last April update, which is a great thing. Now moving on to Destiny 2 news, which again they continue to refer to as the Destiny sequel. The game is not confirmed to be called Destiny 2, but we'll just call it that until the title is announced. Anyways, they felt the need to give us a little nugget of info about how our characters will transition into the next game. Until now, we could safely assume that we would be able to import our Destiny 1 characters into Destiny 2, but we didn't know to what extent that would be in reference to things like gear and collectibles. Today, we've been given a much clearer picture. And for Destiny 2, we will officially not be carrying over character power, possessions, Eververse-related items, or currency. So all of your leveling progress, weapons and armor, and collectibles both found in-game and through Eververse will remain in Destiny 1, which sounds like you can still access post-import. Now by collectibles, of course, I mean things like shaders, emblems, dances, and the like, so those are also not going to carry over. I'm actually personally a big fan of this turn of events, and it has to do with some rumors that we're hearing about the game's systems in Destiny 2 being vastly altered from Destiny 1. Deej mentions that sequels represent the start of a new adventure for every player, with new worlds to explore, new stories to tell, new powers to acquire, new loot to earn, and much more. This led us to a decision that would enable us to serve both the game and the player's best interest. So this actually makes me very happy. A decision like this is not one that's made lightly, so Destiny 2 must be so different in these areas that it wouldn't even make sense to carry them over. Emblems might be completely revamped. The shader system could be vastly improved, maybe like a hybrid of custom colors and chroma to design your own look, and these subclasses could be completely revamped with new abilities and supers. The point I'm trying to make is that we have to remember that while all you might hear are bad things from this, we have to remember that we still don't know the other side of the story that might explain not only why this is, but why it's the obvious decision for them to make. This makes me very excited for the potential of a completely new experience in Destiny 2, and I can't wait to learn more about it in the coming months. On the other hand, the things that will carry over are the class, race, gender, face, hair, and marking selections for all characters that have achieved level 20 and have completed the Black Garden story mission. This tells us a few interesting things about the sequel. 1. The character creation will be similar to Destiny 1 unless they give you the option to rebuild your look for your character. Next, this tells us that Destiny 2 will maintain the 3 character selection system along with the game's races and current classes of Titan, Hunter, and Warlock. And lastly, the fact that the game will only check your progress through the Black Garden story mission and level 20 means that the story will most likely pick up the events of the original vanilla campaign. It will also make it easier for those who stop playing after that first campaign to be able to jump back into the world of Destiny without feeling like they have to catch up on the last 3 years of DLC, which was a goal of theirs from the very beginning. Deej continues with, "We believe that this is the best path forward. It allows us to introduce the major advancements and improvements that all of us expect from a sequel, ensuring it will be the best game we can create unencumbered by the past. We're looking forward to sharing more details with you later this year for how we will honor your legacy in the future." So it's nice to know that our time in Destiny 1 will not go completely unrecognized in Destiny 2. Anyways, there will be definitely a lot to unpack over the next few months, and I will be revisiting this topic as more information is made available. Until then, let me know how you feel about character importing into Destiny 2. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time. So it seems they want to give this new version of Health Regen a test drive before deciding whether or not they want to fix it. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but at least everyone will be in an even playing field. Some people rely on this perk on a daily basis, and they'll have to change up their approach quite a bit, or at least be a little bit more careful.